Welcome to the video class. Good day to you all. Come and study the organic evolution. We have opened up the chapter Origin of Life and Organic Evolution. In this chapter, earlier, we studied about the origin of the life and the theories regarding the origin of the life upon this planet Earth. There are many theories which postulate the origin of the life. The theory of a special creation, the theory of biogenesis, the theory of abiogenesis, cosmozoic theory, and lastly, the modern hypothesis of the origin of the life. Modern hypothesis, also termed as a biochemical origin of the life, biochemical theory of the origin of the life. It was proposed by Alexander I. Fleming, Alexander I. Oparin, and Haldane. Of course, the Stanley Miller and the H. Urey, they have also supported the modern hypothesis of the origin of the life. That is, the biochemical theory of the origin of the life proposed by the Haldane and Alexander I. Oparin scientist. Earlier, it was the Haeckel scientist who gave the idea of the origin of the life upon this planet Earth some billions years ago. How was the life originated some billions years back? For the first time, it was the Haeckel who gave an idea about the origin of the life. So anyhow, now it is a better time to study the evolution of the life. So when we look around us, we notice the presence of highly diversified number of different species of the plants and animals. We now know that all different highly diversified the groups of the plants and animals were not originated some billions years back at the same time in one particular place, but we know that the variety of different species of the plants and animals were originated and evolved in such a way that we know that one form of the life have given rise to the new another form of the life. The evolution literally means what? The evolution derived, the word evolution derived from the Greek language. E means what? Out, and volvo means what? Rolling up. Literally means what? Evolution literally means what? Rolling up, opening up, or unfolding. We can also define the evolution like this, that is descent with modification. Descent with modification means what? The modern living organisms were evolved as a result of the changes and modifications that have developed earlier in their ancestral organisms, gradually and slowly. That can be termed as the evolution. We can also define the evolution like this: origin of the species origin of the new forms of the life, that is the new species of the living organism, maybe the plant or animals, by already pre-existing living organisms with some modifications, gradually over the period of the long time, termed as the evolution. There are a number of theories regarding the evolution of the life. All these different theories, they postulate the evolution of the life. One among it is the Lamarckism. It was the French naturalist Jean-Baptiste de Lamarck who proposed the theory of the organic evolution. The Lamarck and his contribution in understanding the evolution of the living beings known as the Lamarckism. Lamarck, who has contributed a lot in understanding the evolution. Of course, the name of the Lamarck, it is inseparable. The theory of the Lamarck considered as one of the earliest proposal regarding the organic evolution. It was this Jean-Baptiste de Lamarck who was also coined the word biology for the first time, who was also introduced the words vertebrate and invertebrate. It was the same Jean-Baptiste de Lamarck, the French naturalist, who was described and published his the findings. He was made great observations in different species of the plants and then animals, and he was able to publish his findings under the name the philosophy zoologique. Under this name he was published the theory of the organic evolution. His theory of organic evolution, commonly and popularly known as the inheritance of acquired character. Inheritance of acquired character, nothing but the theory of the organic evolution proposed by the Lamarck. The same theory, also called by the other name as a use and disuse of organs. Use and disuse or abuse of an organs. Anyhow, the Lamarck had contributed a lot in understanding how new organisms are evolved, how new living, the new species of the plants or animals or any of the living organisms, the new species, especially how the new species of the living organisms evolved. Based on his findings, based on his observations, we can understand the entire theory of the organic evolution proposed by the Lamarck, that is the Lamarckism, under the three different headings. Namely, that is the new needs, the first factor or the first postulate. The first postulate of the theory of the Lamarckism, it is the new need. Second postulate, it is the acquisition of the new character. The third one, it is that is the inheritance of the acquired character. So these are the three different the factors or the acquisitions, the postulates of the Lamarckism. That is the theory of organic evolution proposed by the Jean-Baptiste de Lamarck. In order to understand the Lamarckian theory of the organic evolution, that is the inheritance of the acquired character, it is better to note that according to this theory, what he was proposed that the new species of the organisms were formed whenever the living organism come into contact with the new environment. It meets a new needs. When it meet new needs, in order to adapt to the changed new environment, in order to shoot to the, or in order to shoot means what? In order to adjust to the changed, the new environment, the organism develop some modifications. So in his words, the Lamarck states that the changes in the structure and function of any organ or organs of the body of individual organism, due to the changes in the environment, changes in the surrounding environment, are acquired during the lifetime of an organism, are inherited by its offspring from generation to generation. This is the summary of the theory of the organic evolution proposed by the Jean-Baptiste de Lamarck. So whenever the organism enter into a new environment, completely a new environment, the changed new environment, it influences a lot. It influences the living organism. Living organism, in order to fulfill his all the requirements, in order to adjust to the new environment, or in order to live and survive under a changed, the new the environmental conditions, the organism anyhow it develops some modifications. So these modifications gradually result the formation of the new species. This is the Lamarckian theory of the organic evolution. The first Lamarckism. The first postulate, it is the new needs. Then the second one, it is acquisition of acquired character, acquisition of new character, acquisition of the new character, acquisition of the new character. Acquisition of the new character takes place in order to survive under a new changed environmental conditions by the living organisms. Once the organism develop a new character, these newly developed characters help the animal or the plant. Means what? The acquired new characters become responsible for the evolution of the new species of the organisms. Okay, so this is the first postulate of the Lamarck. The second postulate of the Lamarck, acquisition of the new character. The third one, acquisition of the new character, can also be explained by giving or by taking or by considering the good examples. how can the living being acquire the new character whenever it come into contact with the new changed environment? So the Lamarck was given Lamarck a good example. He was considered a good example, that is the use and disuse of organs. Use and disuse or abuse of an organ. Abuse of an organ. Any organism, any of the organism, if it continuously use the organ of its body, any organ of its body continuously, the used body organ becomes a functional, more efficient and stronger gradually. According to this particular the use and disuse of organs of any of the animal, it states that if we use, or if any of the animal continuously use a particular organ, any of the body organ, if it uses continuously such a body organ, gradually it becomes more functional, more efficient and more strongest body organ. And if the same organism, same animal, if it discard, or if it do not use, if it discard the use of any one of the body organ, gradually such a organ becomes functionless. Means what? It becomes functionless, and gradually it is eliminated by the body of the living organism. For the use and disuse of the organs of the body of the individual organism, he can again consider the vestigial organs. Vestigial organs are such a body organs. Once these vestigial organs were functional in their ancestors, in the body of their ancestors, but today in all the living organisms, these vestigial organs have already become as a functionless. Okay, this is about the use and the disuse of the organs by the living organisms. The use and disuse of the organs of the body and vestigial organs. And the Jean-Baptiste de Lamarck, he was also able to explain the inheritance of the acquired character. Inheritance of the acquired character. In order to explain, in order to postulate the theory of the organic evolution, he was considered the number of good examples. The third postulate, it is like this. The third one, it is inheritance. Inheritance of acquired character. Inheritance of acquired character. Any of the body character acquired during the lifetime of an individual living being due to the changes in its surrounding environment are inherited by its offsprings from generation to generation. It is termed as a inheritance of the acquired character. Some characters are acquired due to the changes in the organs, changes in the organ or organs of the body of the living organism. So such acquired characters are inherited from generation to generation. This is nothing but the inheritance of the acquired character. Okay, according to him, the organisms, they develop characters. All those characters can be termed as acquired characters. According to him, such a acquired characters, such a newly developed characters are transmitted to its offsprings from one generation to another generation, and such a acquired new characters become responsible for the formation of, or for the formation of the new species of the living organisms. This is the overall the theory of the organic evolution proposed by the Lamarck. In order to support his theory of the organic evolution, Jean-Baptiste de Lamarck was also considered. He was considered the evolution of the long neck in the modern giraffe. Modern giraffe. That is, it is a good example. Good example. According to the Lamarck, modern giraffes have got a very long the neck. It is because of the fact that according to Lamarck, the ancestors of the modern giraffe were very small, and where all of them are just like very small the sheeps. They were very small and usually grazing on the surface of the ground. They were very small, and they exhibit a very small the neck and as well as the four limbs. And the ancestors of the modern giraffe were living in such a environment where the luxuriant grass, the surface grass is available. When they were changed to the, when they were shifted, or when their the habitat, when their the place of living it is changed and become into a arid place, as a result of the environmental conditions, as a result of the changed climate, they were unable to get a food. They were become unable to get sufficient food, and gradually they depend upon the tall trees for their food. So in order to get sufficient food to survive, as they depend upon the tall trees, in order to get the food, they have to stretch their the neck in order to get a food from the tall tree. Gradually, as a result of the stretching of the neck, due to the changed the environmental conditions, the modern giraffes have developed the long neck. This means what? When the environmental conditions changed, the ancestral the giraffe, modern giraffe ancestors, they were developed the new needs. In order to shoot to the, or in order to adjust to the new changed environmental conditions, it has developed some the new characters. It has acquired the new characters. These acquired the new characters become the responsible for the evolution of the modern giraffe. It is one good example. Other than this, the Jean-Baptiste de Lamarck was also able to explain his theory by giving at another example. That is the modern the snakes. According to him, the ancestor of the modern snakes were also lived in the thick forests, thick jungle or a thick forest, where very strong mammals living. in order to escape from such a strong the mammals, the ancestors of the modern snakes, uh, they hide the, or they, in order to escape from such a strong the mammals, the ancestors of the modern giraffe, modern the snakes, um, they find the place of a crevices of the rock, or sometimes in some other such a places. So in order to survive, they won't take a help of, they won't use the limbs. So the ancestors of the modern snakes exhibit the four limbs. They were limbed, but gradually, as a result of the disuse of the organs such as the limbs by the ancestors of the modern snakes, gradually over the period of the long time, they lack the means what, the limbs disappeared, and as a result of the modern snakes developed, or modern snakes evolved. Other than this, the Lamarck was also considered the development of the web in the toys of the aquatic birds, evolution of the aquatic birds, and number of examples he was given in order to explain the postulates, or in order to explain the theory of the organic evolution, that is the inheritance of the acquired character. This is about the inheritance of the acquired character proposed by the gene baptist D. Lamarck. It has a number of demerits. So this is one such a the proposal, or this is one such a the theory of the organic evolution. It has got many of the demerits, many of the limitations. The theory have already become means what, the theory do not help, do not explain many questions, do not give an answer to the many questions. So Lamarck theory remained as a one of the one such a theory, as a I shall stop here and shall continue in the other video class. Thank you.